Can you tell us a little bit about Iron Lady? Because I just saw the trailer for Iron Lady before we came in which you're playing Dennis Thatcher.
Yeah.
And obviously the only thing I've seen is just that short trailer which has Meryl Streep doing a fearsomely impressive impression of Margaret Thatcher.
She's fantastic.
How did you research Dennis?
Well, there isn't a great deal to do with Dennis, because, I mean, he was quoted as saying, and it's better to keep your mouth shut and be thought a fool rather than open it and remove all doubt. So, I mean, and which he did. He kept his mouth shut, apart from one documentary he made in which he was interviewed at length by his daughter, and she also wrote a book about him. So, otherwise, it's looking at old footage and seeing him beaming in the background and sitting next to her on the platform, clapping supportively.
And I wonder if, in the same ways that the crowd who hadn't seen the reveal, Mark, that you were talking about before, and gasped as they should have done, are also going to be an audience that go, actually, I don't really know anything about Dennis. I mean, for a couple of generations, they'll think of Dennis always next to Mrs. Thatcher, and they'll think of the Dear Bill letters in Private Eye. That's really where they got their opinion from. And maybe you've got a blank canvas for a lot of people.
Well, and apparently the Dear Bill letters, even though they didn't really know they were right, but they were very accurate. And everyone said, "How did they know? Who's the mole?" But so, and I think they found, the Thatchers found that the Dear Bill letters were quite useful, because it meant he didn't have to reveal anything about himself, because everyone thought they knew who he was. But
sounds as though you've read lots of them in the last few months.
Yeah, but there was. It's difficult because I don't look anything like him, really, but Meryl does have quite a similarity to the young Thatcher. So so I did quite a lot of prosthetic work and teeth and wig and all that stuff, but I just still look like me. Really.
And is it a fairly neutral? I mean, if it's possible to have a neutral take on Mrs. Thatcher's premiership, but what angle does it come from?
I think it'll enrage absolutely everyone.
Oh, good.
And it's not a normal biopic by any means. I think it's quite edgy, and the right will be incensed that there's this sympathetic movie made about the goddess, and the left will be incensed that there's a sympathetic movie made. No, it'll upset everyone.
And what about Cloud Atlas, which is, I mean, having read the book, it seems unfilmable. So you've just been in Berlin doing camera tests for it, and it's directed by Tom Tykwer and the Wachowskis.
Yeah, so there's basically in the Cloud Atlas book there's 6 stories.
Yeah.
And the Wachowskis are directing 3 of them, and Tom Tykwer's directing 3 of them, and simultaneously. So there's 2 full film units going along side by side, and the principal cast are in all the stories, or in several of the stories. So playing different parts. So it's a massive organisational sort of nightmare. And then they will be meshed together in a sort of masterpiece of editing. So you'll have the audience will be demanded quite a lot of to keep up.
I don't mean this facetiously. Have you read the whole script, and does it make sense? Because I can't think how you'd begin to condense that book.
Well, yes, it does make sense, yeah, and makes it's and it makes a lot more sense in a way, because I mean the book is in separate chunks,
yeah.
and you it's easy to read, but the sort of the parallel stories that are going on, you sometimes forget when you get to the end of book story 3 what was going on in story 1. But at least they're all together now, so there are links that can be sort of pointed up more when they're edited.
And you were just doing preliminaries now. How is it going to shoot for? I mean, it's a huge undertaking, isn't it?
It's going to be a long, sort of 3-hour-ish film, I should think. Yeah, a bit over 3 hours, I would imagine.
But I mean, in terms of the time that it will take you to shoot for it, it'll be...
Well, so... yeah, but they're doing the 2 films together, so it'll be done in September and December. So it'll be, 4 months?
Sue in Aylesbury.
3 months.
3 months.
3 months.
Sue in Aylesbury.
Sue in Aylesbury says, I adore Jim Broadbent. Many years ago, on a flight from Melbourne to London, I happened upon A Sense of History. I was unfamiliar with Jim then, so I thought this was a straight documentary about a country gentleman. We've already had the voice. My jaw dropped when he started to detail how he did in his wife and children. The penny dropped and I roared with laughter for the rest of the feature, much to the dismay of those around me. I still describe any large vehicle, tractor or lorry, as a diesel-powered Leviathan. Keep up the good work, Jim.
Thank you very much,
Sue from Aylesbury. John in Lancashire, could you ask Jim whatever happened to the remake of Rumpole of the Bailey that he was due to star in?
No, it was an idea that John Mortimer had and others, but I never quite took to it. I thought that Leo McKern was too big an act to follow, really.
What do you think of 3D, Jim?
What is the last thing?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. I liked the 3D in Harry Potter. It wasn't offensive. I haven't seen a lot of 3D. Avatar, I didn't take to, I must say. I mean, and most abiding image of Avatar 3D is those sort of thistledown things that kept floating. I thought, didn't quite see the point of that. But I don't know. I haven't seen enough, really.
But on principle, does your heart sing at the prospect of seeing one, or does your soul darken?
My soul darkens.
Yeah, as indeed does the does the vision, since you get up to 30% light loss due to the foot candles.
I was reading all about that in The Good, the Bad, and the Multiverse.
Were you? Yes, it's covered in great depth. I mean, the thing, of course, with the Harry Potter is the Harry Potter was shot in 2D. It wasn't shot as a 3D film. It was shot in 2D, and then it was retrofitted into 3D because we've been told that everything needs to be in 3D. It's nonsense.
Yeah, I was wondering. I don't remember there being two massive cameras around.
There weren't.
Jim, it's been a pleasure having you on the programme. We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.